I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Prada. And in my fragrance journey so far, there's been a number of times people have asked and requested that I review this fragrance. I've been listening to y'all. The fragrance is in. And welcome to the scent bubble. We're finna break it down. Strap up. Welcome to the scent bubble. I am your host for the evening, actually, and I got my bubble jacket on. This is what we do. It's finally cold. It's finally cold in Arizona. Who would have thought? And I'm loving it because this jacket don't come out but a few times a year. So forgive me for looking like a giant green and black marshmallow, aka Michelin Man, etc. This is Prada Luna Rosa Black. The nice suit and tie office, sophisticated, gentlemanly, clean cut, clean shave type vibe, apparently, right? Let's just get straight into it. This decant is provided by Scent Decant. I think they have the most affordable and most considerate decants in the game because they're one of the only brands you can get 1 to 2 mLs with an atomizer on it. And that's nice because you can pay for just getting a true sample. You don't got to get 5, 10, 15. Who wants to spend $5 to $20 on a singular sample of a fragrance they don't even know they like? You want the least amount of juice, but with a 1, 2 ml with an atomizer on it, you're going to get at least 10 sprays of the fragrance. That gives you time to put it on a test strip, to put it on your skin, and perhaps even wear it for the day to get a true well-roundedness. But a lot of companies, because they don't put addies on the 2 or less ml, now you got to rub it on your skin. You got to do dumb stuff with it. You don't really get a full wearing experience. And so you have to buy more juice to actually get the addy, and that's ridiculous. Plus, Scent Decant is really nice because you get anywhere between 15 and 30% off every time you pay. So if a sample is $5, you're gonna get it for like 3.5. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing, and they knock that off everything. So let's see what the hype's about with Prada Luna Rosa Black. I heard this is kind of like the young Jeremy fragrance. Not legitimately, but you know what I'm saying, like that office black suit and tie, gentlemanly, upscale, nice clean cuts. Nothing crazy signature, but it's just like that jet black, suited up man who means his business. This is his typical everyday grab. There's a couple of things going on that I like about it. There's a couple of things that I don't. And I'm actually going to lube back up the test strip because I know I'll probably not wear this fragrance again unless I actually have a bottle. But I want to make sure I actually hit the strip. That's the only hard part about these tiny things is getting the dang sprayer working. There we go. Okay, so what do I get in this fragrance for initial thoughts, right? It smells black, for lack of better words. I mean, I want you guys to look at this bottle real quick. I know that this makes no sense at all, but this fragrance smells like how that bottle looks. I know that means nothing. You got to be a real artsy person to understand what I'm saying, but it just has this Black Widow, black. I don't know, guys. I gotta speak my mind. Here's some notes I get distinctly. I distinctly get amber, and typically I'm familiar with amber being warm and inviting, and I don't know about cozy as much as I just mean like warm, almost resinous sometimes, but not resinous in the dirty incense way, just resinous like heated up, torched a little bit. But this is a very like dark take. It's like wannabe warm, but it has this coldness to it. And I think that's because of a couple of things. I get a strong sense of patchouli, which I'm absolutely in love with. I just think patchouli is like oak moss. You throw oak moss against citruses and it grounds it with such heavy masculine sophistication. Oak moss isn't masculine in and of itself, but it's just a trademark of fragrances that takes masculinity to a new dimension. And then patchouli is kind of like the spicier brother of oak moss. It just, the way it could be velvety, it could be dark and mysterious, it can just be super duper rich, earthy. I've been actually lately on a patchouli kick. Like I've been looking for the top patchouli fragrances and putting them in my collection. So definitely let me know in the chat or in the comment section what y'all are rocking when it comes to like pronounced notes of patchouli. But I get patchouli, I get amber, and I get just this black. I don't know what that means, but it's got like a tough, luxurious man that is so hard to read. He's serious. He gets out of his jet black car. He walks straight into the corporate building. You don't know what floor he's on or whatever, but you just get a whiff of something expensive that's not really inviting, but it smells really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like what Encre Noir OG should have became, right? Like, the little brother to Prada Luna Rossa Black is Encre Noir original, right? And what they took is that DNA and gave it patchouli, dark amber, a touch of powder, and woods. And make no mistake about it, the struggle I think I'm going to have with this is performance, but let's go ahead and start just breaking this apart, because when I look here now, it claims to have a lot going on with it. So let's just see, because I was initially going to say I'm worried about performance. Citrus on the top. If it's bergamot, it's like dark day 3 after the bergamot's been sitting out sliced open on the counter type bergamot. Angelica, what is that? So green shrub and fougères. I definitely get that Angelica and patchouli combo. That seems like the most distinct note I can make out, other than this darker take on amber, which I'm not quite familiar with. What is coumarin? Natural, synthetic, popular, weird. Odor profile depends on the quantity. It can be herbal, hay, sweet, warm, like caramelized almonds. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not caramelized almonds. This is like a kind of herbaceous tonka bean or something, and it's musky. So yeah, I think the patchouli Angelica amber is what I'm mostly getting, like by about 80%. And then the 20% is a distribution between this kind of dark bergamot, whatever this coumarin is that looks like tonka beans to me, and then musk. Yeah, there's just something very mysterious about this. Like, you really have to play the part. I think it's a semi-formal, formal fragrance, but not date night. But then again, I struggle, right? Because I feel like this could be date night if you want to come off like unreadable to a girl. Sometimes that comes off sexy. You know what I'm saying? So there's an element of who is this guy about it? And women are attracted to that sometimes. A lot of times, actually. It's the whole bad boy phraseology. You know what I'm saying? There's something edgy about this guy, and I want to figure him out. So, but it says here, as far as I'm trying to look for performance is the main thing. Did they put it on here? Here we go. So they say it's decently long lasting. So it might just be not very projective, not have a lot of sillage, but it lasts long. So this is going to be one that you just really cake on the sprays with it. So the sillage is not all there, right? So this isn't going to be a scent trail, but it does last pretty long in the longevity category. So yeah, let's get out of this. I'm starting to find myself losing thought a little bit, just because I'm trying to find value to give to you about this fragrance. I think this fragrance is an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and it's going to depend on what kind of person you are. Like, if you want something you can pull out that's kind of dark, somebody has to get close to you to feel it, mysterious, edgy, but there's no distinct notes other than kind of like patchouli and this dark, cold amber, little bit of green earthiness. The more I try and smell it, because it's I got to put my nose so close to it to get it, it's not very loud and projective. it's hard to make out the notes in this. The only distinct note I get again is patchouli and amber, and I really love those notes, so I tend to want to say I'd love this fragrance. I might have to take this outside tomorrow and really cake it on and try to get a sense of the waftability here. But I think this fragrance is going to be for the suit and tie guy that wants to look mysteriously unreadable but have sex appeal. And I think I think outside of that, if you went upscale casual or like date night or something like that, this feels like what Encre Noir OG should have been, because this is a more commercial version on that type of DNA. Granted, there's not vetiver in it, there's not cashmere, but it has a cashmerean vibe, more leaning patchouli amber, but it's got that woodiness to it that is very reminiscent, and it's got this emptiness to it that feels Encre Noirish. But this is Encre Noir, you'd struggle to find a use case. Prada Black, there is a specific use case for this. It's date night seduction, mystery man. You know, it kind of is in the wheelhouse of Oud for Greatness, without the oud, a little more. This is one of the more like mystery fragrances where the notes I can make out I absolutely love, but there's this something going on about it that I want to get to know more. But it certainly has this kind of coldness to it that could only be inviting to the girl who already thinks you look good or are dressed nice and wants to know more about you. Then it kind of complements that figure. Whereas like if you're a nice guy and you got a smile and all that and you got Prada Black on, it almost doesn't fit to me. You know, this seems like a James Bond type of fragrance, but I'm trying to be helpful for you guys. I think this is any season, any reason, but don't wear it in high heat. This is almost any age, I feel. It seems like this fragrance was made for a man's man. But I think it's so light and mysterious that, shoot, you could be 18 and up, to be honest. This is, I definitely recommend you guys smell it first, though, because it's so, I almost said questionable, but it's so mysterious and simple noted as far as the fragrance DNA that it's either gonna be love at first sniff or not. But I can definitely tell you, you're going to want to wear a lot of sprays with this. A lot of sprays, because there's not a lot of projection in sillage. It'll last, but you're going to need to really get it to pop off skin. You're going to have to probably do north of 8 sprays. I would say this fragrance is probably like an 8 to 12 spray fragrance. If you don't believe me, do it. A lot of people are scared of spraying a lot, but if you're scared, put it on, then go outside for like 1 minute and come back inside, and you'll notice it's a whole different vibe than when you initially were projecting. Trust me, when you first put on fragrance, that is not what you're going to smell like for the day in most cases, unless we're talking about nuclear or beast mode fragrances. But anyways, I think this is an 8 for me personally, but in the right setting, it has an appeal that's very much 9 out of 10. And the only reason I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10, is because there's no real projection sillage element past the first hour. And I can't make out a ton of notes. This feels very much like the Angelica Patchouli Amber, and it's so simple. And I don't think it has enough dimension to it. It's almost like the appeal about this fragrance is what you're searching for, not the actual notes itself. It's really weird. But a lot of women online highly recommend this fragrance for their men. So if that's any value to you at all, worth purchase, go ahead and purchase it. Now, as far as the pricing on a fragrance like this, my mouse wasn't showing up for half a second, but let's just go to the window real quick. So I'm seeing Joma for $72 for 50 ml, $90 100 fragrance. You know, let me just say this in perspective. Here's something to think about. When I think about Gucci, when I think about Marc Jacobs, when I think about Dior, this absolutely is on par with a lot of your usual suspects when it comes to like YSL, Gucci, Marc Jacobs, Jean Paul Gaultier. But this DNA is respectable because none of those fragrances smell like this. I'm trying to think of anything that even is moderately close, and the only thing I can think of is maybe like a Tom Ford Original Noir, Encre Noir, and it doesn't smell like that, but it just in the wheelhouse of that dark mystery. Oud for greatness. DNA is more Tom Ford Noir and Ancre. It's like, okay, here's a good picture. This fragrance is if Tom Ford's Noir original had a baby with Ancre Noir. Try to picture that. I think you guys will get what I'm putting down. Pick up what I'm putting down. But I mean, in terms of the quality of it and the uniqueness, to me, it's above a lot of the stuff that you would find in Sephora because it's so different, but it does have goodness going on with it. It's just a little bit hard to read, but I think I know the circumstance you would want to wear this, and I think it absolutely is worth $90 for 100 ml. Now, here's the question. Is there a Prada Black clone? I'm not aware of one as of the filming of this video, but if I ever find one, I'll recommend it. But do I think this is worth the money? 100%. Now, if you're under the age of like 22, this can only be, well, any age really. But just know if you're a young kid buying a fragrance like this, I don't really think it's going to be very hard to pull off unless you're in a tux, unless you're suited down, slacked up, because there's an expensiveness about this, very manly, young manly. Like you can get away with it. Like this fragrance, I imagine the young Jeremy Fragrance who's in his black suit, you know, when he first rose to fame. This is the fragrance I imagine him wearing in a lot of those clips. You know what I'm saying? Or James Bond, Casino Royale. He's sitting at the poker table. This is what I imagine he's wearing. There's edginess, but there's masculinity to it. But there is patchouli, slight sweet draw to it. Okay, I'm going to shut up, guys. 8 or 9 out of 10 fragrance. I do think it's worth the money retail. But I don't have any alternatives truthfully to it. But if you want something in the wheelhouse, I hesitate to just say Ancre Noir because it's $20 because it's missing a lot of the sweet allure that Prada Black is showcasing with the patchouli, a little bit of sweetness, the amber. That's missing in Ancre Noir. So Ancre Noir is even more empty, even more edgy, even more soily, earthy. But again, that mixed with something like I forget the other fragrance. Oh, Tom Ford Noir. I'm not really giving you too many options because Noir is going to be like $100, the same price as the Prada. Might as well get the Prada. The Ancre Noir is $20, but it's not truly the DNA that I'm describing with Prada Black. So, you know, it is what it is. Let me know if you guys have this in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. I've been talking too much. This is Prada Luna Rosa Black, and I give it about an 8 or 9. Totally worth buying. Blind buy? Absolutely not. Sample it. But do I think it's worth the retail purchase price? Absolutely. And I gave you a couple other options in the same wheelhouse of it. And I hope you guys find this valuable. If you have any questions, sound off in the comments. And until next time, this is the Scent Bubble. And y'all be blessed. Peace.